Hi, I am so glad you called because I cannot wait to show you what I got my kids. So, just as a reminder, my sons are 7 and 5 years old. Let's go ahead and start with stockings first. So, I saw these a little while ago at the, Walmart toy aisle, and I picked them up and I was like, oh, these will be perfect for stocking stuffers. And I'm so glad that I got them then because when I was going shopping a couple weeks ago, I noticed that they were all sold out. So I think other parents probably had the exact same thought in mind closer to Christmas. So I got them these little Lego kits. They're not exactly the same. I'm not super sure which one I will give to whom, but they're really good about exchanging and sharing their gifts. But I thought it would be super fun that they have something a little bit different because, like I said, then they can, both play with something. But we usually do stockings on Christmas Eve. Let me know, when do you typically do stockings? I think it's always so fun to do them Christmas Eve because then it feels like it just kind of prolongs the Christmas season a little bit more. And then you're not so overwhelmed with all the gifts you get on Christmas morning. So in with their stockings, I always give them a Matchbox car. I do have a bag that I keep of just random Matchbox cars because they get one after they go visit the doctor or the dentist. So I just pulled two out. Instead of just putting a random one in their stocking, I will probably let them pick which one they want. But I was thinking that these might go really well with a gift that one of my other sons is getting. So they'll get these. And then I'm also a fan of purchasing things that I would just restock normally as a mom, but then holding on to them for Christmas. Now, the one thing that I will not do is underwear. I know some parents like to put underwear and socks in their kiddos' stockings or give them to gifts. I'm just I feel like as a parent, that's just a requirement and a right as my child that they should just get underwear and socks whenever they need them. Now, I do understand getting the super fun socks that are extra special. But if it's just the normal stuff, no, I just give it to them, as soon as that they're purchased. But as far as super fun, craft supplies and that stuff, that type of things that I will hold on just to kind of fill up their stockings. So they'll each get a Play-Doh, a green and blue, because that's kind of one of their favorite colors. One of my sons, his favorite color is red, but they didn't really have a red one. It was more so leaning kind of pinkish orange. So I was like, we'll go with a green and blue, colors just to kind of stay, safe in that department because I know they like these. And also, since they get their stockings Christmas Eve, the past several Christmases, I've put some glow bracelets or, glow sticks in their stockings. I think we might have opened these on 4th of July, but there's plenty in here. We did this last year. They had such a blast. They wore them all night. I think they still had them on the next day. Well, they didn't go to bed with them on. That's a little bit of a hazard. So I know that they're just gonna love the fact that I have these. I have some in other colors too, not just green. But this is what I pulled out to show you. And then the final thing is my youngest, my 5-year-old, he really was taken up with Slinkies recently. He's seen a couple of really fun Slinky videos. And so I got him just the standard Slinky. I was told, or at least this is what I could find, that the standard Slinky is the perfect size for going down the stairs, which I know is what he's going to want to do. And then I didn't think that my eldest, my 7-year-old, would be super interested in having a Slinky himself. I feel like he will participate with my 5-year-old having the Slinky, but I didn't want my 5-year-old to get something that my 7-year-old didn't have a partner gift for. So I got this actually came with a different gift, but it's a nice little little tin, and his favorite character is Spider-Man. So I was thinking I would just give this to my 7-year-old, and then he can start putting his favorite trinkets and stuff like that, because now that he's in school, he's starting to come home with things he's made or he's won or earned at school. And so I figured this would be perfect for him to start keeping some of those favorite mementos in. So that's everything for their stockings. Now, when it comes to their gifts, the way that I do it in like here with my kiddos is they usually, of course, like every other kiddo, they see a whole bunch of things throughout the year that they want. And we usually only do gifts like for birthdays and then for Christmas. So for Christmas, I say, okay, you get to pick one gift that you want, because that way I can give myself a little bit more like permission to spend a little bit more on the gift. And I know that that's the gift that they will be so excited about. And also I like to keep things a little bit more minimal. So the thing that my 7-year-old really wanted, he's wanted for a really long time, is the Lego excavator. He has seen this at the store. He goes over to it every single time we're there, and he has just been like really wanting this one. Now, I did find out that this is retiring, so I'm really glad that I found it when I did. I was a little bit in panic mode because I was hoping for the price to drop, because Legos can be very expensive. And I was talking to one of my other friends, and she was saying like, hey, they never go on sale. So if you see them going on sale, like get them like right away. So anyway, I found this one online, so I was really excited for him that I got it. So I think he's going to absolutely love this one. And then for my 5-year-old, his big gift that he wanted was a Hot Wheels track. And he's seen a couple of different Hot Wheels tracks that he's wanted. Now, he is a little bit more like fluid in what it is that he really is interested in, whereas my 7-year-old, like, he picks one thing and that's very specifically the thing that he wants, whereas my 5-year-old, like, he'll sometimes change his mind. So he had one car track picked out that he really wanted, and I was like, okay, great, that's like kind of in our budget. And then it came time to actually make the purchase, and it's no longer available. I think it's probably like no longer manufactured. So we were looking at some other car tracks that he might like, and we did find this one, and it did help that he saw it on like an ad. And I was kind of contemplating between this one or another one, but we chose this one. So it's huge, by the way. This will be the first race car track that he has that is actually like battery powered. So I did make sure to go ahead and grab the batteries for it, because how disappointing would that be if you open it on Christmas morning and then you can't actually run the thing. So with this track, the reason we decided this one is because it's a double track, and then so the cars enter from two different locations and then they can crash into each other. And so I was like, this will be perfect, because then he has the opportunity to play it with his brother, because they do often, like I said, they kind of share toys. And even though this one was outside the amount I initially kind of wanted to spend for their like one big want gift, it was on sale. So I was like, oh, this is, I was happy that it ended up being like a financial bargain for us. So we did go ahead and get it. I think he's going to be super thrilled, super excited. And then for the fact that I got them some other little things to go with that. So with the race car tracks, we have this assortment of Batman cars. I think I showed you this on that other call that we had, where I was showing you the gifts that we got for like our giving kind of like local angel tree. So this one has a Batman car, a police car, and then these are all the villain cars, which I think he's going to super love. And then he's seen this little pizza car Lego for a while, and I initially purchased it for him to have as like if he needs to go to the dentist and they need to do an actual procedure on his mouth, because that's kind of what happened with his older brother. His brother had several cavities, and it was like quite an extensive work that needed to be done. So I got my 7-year-old like kind of like a mid-size Lego to, reward him for his dental visit instead of just like a Matchbox car. So I picked this one up for my 5-year-old should he end up being in this similar situation. But thankfully, he has not had an actual like dental procedure that needed work done. So I was like talking with my husband, Dan. I was like, should I, hold on to this for should he, need or have a cavity in the future? And he's like, no, just give it to him now. Like, he's going to enjoy it. So he'll get this for his Christmas. My 5-year-old will. But so since my 5-year-old has a couple of other things to unwrap with his really big gift, I needed some other kind of small things for my 7-year-old. So My 7-year-old has been reading chapter books at school, and I unfortunately realized that a lot of our books that we had in our collection were like elementary, like books. And so I was like, I need to invest in getting him some like age appropriate books for him to read. So one of the books that I picked up was The Wild Robot. We love the movie at our house. It's beautiful if you've never seen it. And so he read this book, absolutely loved it. But what he didn't know is that when I purchased this book, I also got the second and third book for him to read. And I was like, I'll just keep these for Christmas. And so he'll get both of these. And then he's my craft artist child, and so he likes to make a lot of books out of construction paper. Again, he will share this with his brother, but at least he'll have something else to open when my 5-year-old is going to be opening like the batteries and the other Matchbox cars and the other kind of like Lego that he got. So that is everything that they will be getting like individually. However, I did get a couple of group gifts, but the other thing that I'm kind of like contemplating, do I add this on? Do I not add this on? Is that we have started allowance in our house this year because they're just kind of getting to the point, and I don't know. I was hearing like a whine, and I think it's the wind from my window. So I don't know what you do at your house as far as like discipline or correction, but at my house, like my kids are just starting to get too old for timeouts, and I want to also kind of teach like financial literacy. And one of the things that they have wanted for Christmas is some Spider-Man watches, because my 7-year-old is learning about how to tell time with like an actual clock face in his classroom. And of course, anything that my 7-year-old wants, my 5-year-old also wants too. And so they picked out some watches, and I was like contemplating, like, I feel like this is just like a little bit more of a mature gift that if they just get it for Christmas, I don't necessarily feel like they'll fully appreciate it or take care of them. And so I was like, okay, we're just going to start allowance. So they get 1/4 per day for when they're, like well behaved and stuff like that. And then if they're not well behaved, sometimes they'll get other disciplinary action, but then they'll either lose their quarter for the day, kind of depending on the severity of what it is, or they may have to pay us a quarter or multiple quarters back. So the watches that they got, that they're trying to earn this is the watch that my 7-year-old picked out, and then this is the watch that my 5-year-old picked out. My 5-year-old is like a big super fan of the Miles Spider-Man. However, like this one, I don't think you can quite tell, but this one has a really nice like face. It's like metal. It's like so, I don't know, like such a better quality versus this one. This one is plastic, and then it has like this stretchy band on it. So I got a leather band to go ahead and replace this watch. So here's what I'm thinking is, since they want to earn these for Christmas, and also my 7-year-old has gotten extra quarters for losing teeth, and my 5-year-old doesn't have that opportunity, what I'll probably do, since they've been like counting their quarters, trying to earn their watches, is that on Christmas, I will just give whatever remaining money is needed left for whoever is the most short quarters to be able to purchase the watches. And we've set the limit at $15. So they could have had the opportunity to earn all $15 that they needed by Christmas. But I'm just like, okay, if they haven't, then we'll just kind of gift them the remaining amount. And then they can purchase the watches that they want. Now, they have been using just like a mason jar, and then we put their names on them to earn and keep their quarters in. But I was at the store the other day, and I was going down the baby section, kind of like looking for different like wrapping paper and like birthday stuff like that. And I saw these piggy banks, and there were like, I got 2 of them. And the reason I texted my husband, and I was like, should I get these, or are these like too immature? And I was because like I wanted to get them actual banks, but everything that I was seeing online was like customizable and like much more than I ultimately wanted to spend. But as a kid, I remember how fun it was to like put pennies and like change and dollars in my piggy bank and then open it and count out, what I'd earned and what I was saving for. And like with the mason jar, like they don't have that same like slot. I know I could make one, but I figured like, you know what, how much more fun would it be for them to actually have piggy banks? And then my husband had asked like, oh, can they like paint them or put their names on them? And I was like, it has like a glossy finish, so I don't think anything would really like stick or turn out very well that way. But I was thinking like, oh, they could still put like their stickers on them or anything like that and kind of customize it to like make it theirs. So I'm thinking that I'll just put the remaining money that they need to actually like purchase their watches inside their piggy banks. And then whoever ends up with more money than $15 will just like save that money for the next thing that they want to, buy or save up for. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I know it's a little bit extra than what we would normally do for Christmas, but I'm really excited for them. I think that they're absolutely gonna love it. Okay, and then we got a couple of books. So every year I like to give books for them just to like encourage the love of reading and just like, help them with literacy and stuff like that. So, one of the things that my 7-year-old is doing in his classroom is he has to read nonfiction books. And again, because our collection was severely lacking, I was looking through it and I was like, all of the books we have are basically fiction books. I had picked up this book because both of my sons are huge dinosaur lovers. So I bought it way earlier in the year with the intent to give it to him at Christmas. But then since I realized, well, he needs more nonfiction books for actually his like reading at home, and it's just not feasible for me to go to the library right now. I was like, okay, I'll just pull this out and just like gift it to them early so that way they have books that he can read for his reading log. However, there's a very specific dinosaur book that they have seen at school, and it's called the Ultimate Dinopedia. And I was like, oh, I'll get this book for Christmas, and then they can, look through it and have something extra to read. And it's a little bit different than the other dinosaur book that I got instead. So they'll get this book, and then I like to kind of give each of them a book, even though it'll be like a group gift, again, kind of like encouraging that whole sharing. They have this Little Planet Solar System book, and they absolutely love this book. So I was like, well, maybe I'll get another space book. So it's very similar to the other dinosaur book. It's a Smithsonian space book. But what I love about this is it's a visual encyclopedia. So the pictures in here are just like fantastic. And then it has a lot of like, nonfiction facts and just like all about space. So I was like, I think that they will love this book just as much as the other dinosaur book. And it's gonna help my 7-year-old in his classroom, at least like, again, reading the nonfiction. And then when my 5-year-old is in that grade, he'll have plenty of options to kind of read through already on our bookshelf. And then I do like to get like one kind of like just fun book that we could read together as a family. And I was just at a little bit of a loss. And so I reached out to my sister because she has some boys that are much older than my sons. And I was like, hey, do you have any recommendations? Because she's kind of already gone through this age group. And she did send a few over, but the one she actually really recommended was this one, The Little Pilgrim's Progress. And I also like it because it's going to kind of like showcase our faith and kind of hopefully encourage them in that. And I was kind of contemplating between this and one other book. So I had shown my 5-year-old some of the pictures online. I was like, hey, what do you think about this book? And he was like, no, I don't like it. And I was like, oh, why? And he was like, the pictures are all like, in his like little 5-year-old speech, basically saying like the pictures are all black and white and that's not what he ultimately wanted. And I was thinking like, okay, well, and I didn't give him, I wasn't showing him the other books that I had already purchased. So I was thinking, you know what, he'll have lots of color through, the other dinosaur book and the space book. Like, I'm just going to purchase this one anyway. Like, I'm the parent, I can make that decision. So I think that my 7-year-old will absolutely love this book. He's definitely a sit down and a reader. So I think that he will really enjoy this. And I think my 5-year-old will enjoy this too if we were to all read it together as a family, which is a little bit more so my intent. So that's what we got for books. And then I do usually try to do like a bigger group gift for them at Christmas. And this Christmas, we definitely like knocked it out of the park. So my husband and I have been really trying this past year to increase our income. And I'm just like really pleased with like the progress that we have made. And so I had asked him, I was like, hey, is it okay if we just like spend a little bit more on their like family gift for Christmas? And he was totally on board with that. So we are giving them this really big classic Lego box. So last year we got like the medium size one, and my kids are not free builders. Like, that's not something that they really enjoy, but we do enjoy going online and looking up different builds. And the classic box has some really great options. So if you just search like classic and then whatever the box number is, we've utilized that so much throughout this last year, especially my 5-year-old. So I was like, this will give us some great options and just kind of expand our collection. However, the thing that bothers me as a parent, and probably also because I'm a little bit more so type A, is I hate having the Legos just like in a huge assortment, and then when you need a very specific piece, you're like searching through the Legos, especially if it's super tiny. And my husband, who's definitely not type A, he's like, oh, well, that's half the fun. And I'm just like, no, it's not. Let me know if you're like this at all. So I picked up these. I feel like it's more so a gift for me, but both of my sons are very much the same way. Like I said, I think it's because they're not free builders, and my husband more so. Growing up, he was a free builder Lego, where my kids are just like, they like to know what it is they're building and have like beginning, middle, end, and at the end they have this beautiful masterpiece. So I picked up these little assortment boxes so that way we could sort out our Legos. I do have a couple already for the Legos that we currently have, but I was really pleased to find this one because inside each individual compartment, you can take them out and make the compartment bigger or smaller, but this is like the smallest size that they are, and there's 4 of these, so I was like, this is great, because even if we don't use all 4 of these, I'm sure we'll get more Legos in the future, and then I won't need to buy more. So I have to, like I said, I definitely feel like this was a purchase more so for me, but also I think it's just gonna like help them enjoy the building process a little bit more too. All right, but the biggest gift that they are getting, and this is why I needed to talk to my husband about it and kind of get his thoughts, is like, he and I are both very musical, and one of the ways that he's been earning more money is he actually started a business where he like goes and plays and sings and does like gigs for different restaurants and venues around the area. And so he's always like breaking out his guitar and playing guitar and practicing around my sons. And as kids, both he and I learned piano, and they got this little kind of like little play guitar a couple years ago. Maybe it was last Christmas, I don't know. But my 5-year-old carries this around all the time. And when Dan is practicing with his guitar, like my 5-year-old will bring it out and try and like play with him. And my 7-year-old has shown a lot of interest in like learning guitar. And so we went ahead and we purchased them a learning guitar. Now, I do think that it will end up being a little bit too big for my 5-year-old, but I mean, he's going to grow into it. I don't have it here to show you because it was just like, it's kind of bulky and big, but if you're interested in seeing it, like I'll send it to you after this video. So yeah, that is everything that we got. I definitely feel like it is a little bit more than last year, but like I said, I mean, what is the point of working extra hard if you're not also going to be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor? And I I'm not a gift giving person, but when it comes to my kids, like I absolutely love it. Let me know if you're at all similar because otherwise like buying gifts for other people just kind of like stresses me out. But as a mom, like it's a completely different experience for me. So I don't know if you can relate. But yeah, that's everything I got. But I would love to hear if there's something that you especially love to include and give your kids every year. Like, is it books? Is it, certain stocking things? We will go out right before Christmas and get extra like treats and goodies and stuff that I will of course fill up their stockings with. So yeah, we can send me a text and we can keep kind of talking about this conversation, but I've rambled on enough. It's your turn and I'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye.